Gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. A little bit later of a start than usually here on a Tuesday with the live show. The Tuesdays are going to be a little funky for me. Had to head to Iowa City this morning for a few radio responsibilities. So got done with that. I didn't want to miss a show. We had a show on Saturday, a post pod when it comes to the Iowa football game. And yesterday we were off because of Labor Day. Walked in the parade. We'll talk about that in a second. So didn't want to miss a day. So I figured I'll get back. We'll rock out a show. We got so much to talk to. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So Tuesdays from now on are probably going to be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon start. We'll get you all that information and keep reminding you of that as well. But if you are watching on YouTube at a different time, thank you for doing that live. Thank you for subscribing as well. I did have a few people text me, about 4 or 5 people text me around 10 o'clock and said, hey, no show. So that made me feel good. That meant like, hey, people are used to it at a certain time. So thank you for your patience, and we got a lot to get to. So if you're watching live on YouTube, thank you. Tell a friend or 2 or 10 about what we're doing. We appreciate that. We're also live on X as well. X has been very, very good to us. So check the show out on X if you're not able to get it to YouTube as well. And then also the podcasting platforms. You can check out the show, listen to the show on all the podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple, Podbean, you name it, we got you covered. So check it out, Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, every weekday at 10 o'clock, except for today. Today is at 1 p.m., but we appreciate you guys tuning in and watching because we do have a jam-packed full show to get to because it is Cy-Hawk Week. It's one of the biggest weeks of the year in the state of Iowa, arguably the biggest week of the year when it comes to sports in the week of in the state of Iowa. Iowa State and Iowa will do battle coming up on Saturday at Jack Trice Stadium. We got so much to unpack when it came to that, and I figured the best way to start is with the radio analyst of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Usually Pat got in a good groove of joining us on Mondays. We're going to start that up again, and then of course Monday was Labor Day, so he'll be with us in just a matter of moments, kind of look back at what was when it came to the game against Albany, but then look ahead to Iowa State and what Iowa has to do to be successful, what Iowa State has to do to be successful, what the rivalry is about, and what it's like. So Pat Anger joining us in just a little bit as we continue, or we kick off, I guess, our Cy-Hawk coverage. Jake Brend will be in tomorrow. Tom Kakert will be on Thursday. We're hoping to get the On3 publisher for the Iowa State side of things as well, kind of do a little round table with that. So more on that this week, but a lot to get to when it comes to a huge game between Iowa and Iowa State. We start with Pat Anger in a matter of moments. Week 1 of the high school football season in the books. Of course, we did our show on Friday from Spartan Stadium. It was a blast. Thank you to Deanne Kramer and Rusty VanWetzinga and all those people over at Pleasant Valley. It was a weird Friday night. Game got postponed till Saturday morning, and it was Pleasant Valley beating Bettendorf 24-17. Also a good weekend for Rusty VanWetzinga when it came to Central Michigan. Of course, both of his boys, Rusty and Joey, both play for the Chippewas. They went out to San Jose State and got a big victory to start the season. So Rusty VanWetzinga will joining us coming up a little bit later on in the show. And then, I spent my Friday night at Augustana College watching Alleman football. And it's been a minute since you got to watch varsity football at Alleman High School. After 2 years off from varsity football, Alleman returned. They got a big victory, looked good in doing so. Their head coach, Tom Barber, will join us in just a little bit as well. So a lot to get to on a special time of a show when it comes to 1 o'clock in the afternoon here on a Tuesday, but we'll get you plenty of great content straight ahead. I did mention yesterday was Labor Day. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their long weekend, their 3-day weekend. Myself and my family, some of my family, others walked different parts, but we walked in the Rock Island Labor Day Parade with Off the Air. It was a blast. It was a great idea by my oldest. Said, hey, why don't you get out and let people know about the show? So hopefully we let a lot more people know about what we're doing each and every weekday here in the Quad Cities with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Fantastic sponsor of ours, Mobile Party Experience. Tim O'Neill got us the old party trailer, so we were quite the talk of the parade with the big party trailer. The big screens had an old show on it, so that kind of let people know what the product was. And then to take things up to the next level, another sponsor of ours, Snoop's Chips and Salsa. We gave away chips and salsa. And I got to thank my wife. I had pictures of this, and I can't get them up and moving right now. Maybe we'll show them tomorrow. But she spent basically an hour and a half in the back of a pickup truck filling up trays of chips and salsa for us to hand out. So thank you to her, my kids, my niece Katie, for helping us hand out Snoops. Thank you to Snoop for getting us the chips and salsa. So between Mobile Party Experience, Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and Snoops, I hope we got the word out. We're having a bunch of fun here in the Quad Cities, doing cool things. This show as well. So it was great to see a lot of people. A lot of people knew about the show, which was great. A lot of compliments on what we've been starting to do, which was always great and reaffirming to hear. And some people that recognized me and didn't know this new venture and what we were doing. So it was kind of great to get the word out and spread the word on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So thank you to the Rock Island Labor Day Parade for letting us be part of it. Thank you to everybody who said hi yesterday. We appreciate it. And anybody who subscribed that's new, new. And there are new subscribers after that because my wife, brilliant genius that she is, made up these little cards with the QR code to take you right to all the places you can watch it. So anybody who scanned that and is now watching today or checking out the show later, we appreciate that. Welcome aboard. Hopefully you enjoy what we started and what we're going to continue to do right here in the Quad Cities for, the next, as long as God willing, as long as they let us. So it's been a really, really good time. So last thing on my weekend, really, and there's so much football. What a great weekend of college football, high school football. But thank you to all those who reached out. Got my first pregame show in the books. The Hawkeye Tailgate Show. It's so much fun. We had Brandon Scherf, we had Pat Anger, we had Mark Gronowski, a one-on-one with him, and we'll talk about QB1 at Iowa here in a second with Pat Anger, Tom Kakert, Chelsea Brown. It was just a really fun time. I got comfortable probably halfway through it, and I don't know if I ever got comfortable. A little different, but it's going to be so much fun. I'm really excited about this week. We'll be on from 9 to 10. We'll be at Big Grove Brewery in Iowa City. Some great guests are lined up. So I'm excited about week number 2 of the Hawkeye Tailgate Show on the Hawkeye Radio Network, the pregame show for Gary and Pat, who just absolutely killed it as usual. And so while we're talking radio, there's no better place for us to begin than with the face that's on radio of Iowa football. And joining us now on a Tuesday on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, the one and only Pat Anger. You got game 1 under your belt. How'd it feel on Saturday? Good?
Yeah, it felt good. It's Pat Tuesday, not Fat Tuesday. Now we're going to call it Pat Tuesday.
I like that.
So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it felt good. It felt good to be out there. It felt good to be up there with Dolph and just the whole thing. And what's crazy though is it felt like I was just there too. Like it didn't feel like it had been a full off season, but it was fun. It was a lot of good time. Tired, that first week's always tiring because you got a whole bunch of stuff leading up to it. But once the game got going, it was a blast. And hearing Gary's beautiful voice just made it that much better.
He's so good. If he recited the alphabet, I would listen. It's one of those things that he's just like got that fantastic voice and all that kind of stuff. Thank you for being on the first pregame show with me and every week with me. We didn't get canceled or anything like that. I thought you brought an energy. Like, honestly, there was not nobody, but there wasn't a huge crowd. And then you showed up, and next thing you know, there were families, there were ladies. And I tell you, you bring a lot of popularity with you.
Oh no, you did amazing. I tell you what happened is at that time around my interview is the honorary captain shows up. So that's why everybody was there, because Brandon Scherf was there. So it wasn't me. But the only girl I had screaming for me was your wife. And I'm excited about that. I got harassed by one of your children, and then your wife was cheering for me. But you did a great job, man. It was great to listen to, and you started us off with a bang.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I think I could do a lot better, but I didn't do anything stupid. I didn't do anything really, really bad, and I got comfortable as I went. And I think that was the beauty of it. And I think you can attest. It's weird because we talked about like you being nervous last year. I was a little nervous this year, and like you're like on for 4 hours straight because it's not. Then the post game starts and all that kind of stuff. I was getting a McFlurry in Walcott, finishing listening to the postgame show. That's how long you're on. And I stayed the whole game.
The voice of the Gophers is a friend of ours, and Mike Grimm, and he was there in the booth with us. Great guy, awesome guy, Iowa guy actually. And after the game, we went and had a couple beers. He goes, "My postgame show is 26 minutes." He goes, "I don't know how you guys do it, but for me, I don't know any different." I don't know. And Gary does the bulk of it, but sometimes it's like you can say that you can only say the same thing again so many times. But it is fun talking to Coach. It's fun talking to the players. I do kind of enjoy the little wind down after the game.
All right, one more about radio, and then we got to talk about a game. You mentioned talking to Coach. Is it probably always going to be? Is it still coach player when you two kind of converse? Has it changed at all now that? Well, you're a big media star now, but I mean, is it still the dynamic still the same, or is it still always coach and idiot middle linebacker that probably caused more trouble than needed to?
Yeah, I still call him coach, and I still, whatever he tells me to do, I'll do.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. That's a
Yeah.
great thing.
If he tells me to go punch somebody, tackle somebody, I'm in.
Oh wow, that's
Or go run some hills. So he might say, "Why don't you go punch that Dazzo guy? He's doing, I got you. I got his back. I have to do it.
I
He's my
deserve it.
coach."
I deserve it. Why is the sky falling after a 34-7 win?
I don't know. Yeah, I think Iowa fans. I think sometimes just fans in general. I think we're a little bit romantics. Per se, we want that romantic opening. Right? We want everything to go great, pass for 500 yards, all that stuff. I mean, the way I look at it, he was trying to do a little bit too much. He got a little happy feet there, and he even admitted that. There were nerves there as well. But honestly, it kind of worked out to the fact that we showed Iowa State nothing. We showed them nothing. No one's counting us. No one's counting us in this game. No one thinks that we have a chance to win. I like that place to be, rather than us going out there and dominating them and be like, oh, they're the best team ever, and then going to Iowa State. It's like, well, So yeah, I like us against the world.
Yeah,
I'm all in on that. I love that, and the way I look at the Iowa State game, and maybe I'm getting too far ahead of ourselves, but I think last year we should have won that game. We absolutely should have won that game. We threw it. We gave it away. So many times in the red zone we didn't convert. We're better than we were last year, and I don't know if they are.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
I like that. We're going to talk about the Cyclones a little more in a second. When it go back to Gronowski, it seemed like he didn't get a chance to really play a game because probably pregame jitters, and hats off to him too, Pat. Like, he talked about it in the postgame. He admitted it. Yeah. Like, some guys wouldn't. I was a little fast. I was a little nervous, all that kind of stuff. You came out of the radio mansion, is what I'll call it, when at halftime, and the first thing you said to me and Goofy Tom was, just run the football. Like, I get that we wanted to see like this ball flying all over the place, but like the and you looked at the tape, the offensive line dominated, and every running back who touched the ball ran like for 6-7 yards per carry. I mean, it wasn't that. It didn't take a brain scientist to figure out what was going to be successful, did it?
No, but I also think they wanted to work the timing with him and the quarterback and the receivers, which is fair. But on pay, and it's almost like maybe we didn't want to do the easy thing. Maybe we didn't want to just, we can run all over them. Maybe we didn't want to do that. Maybe we wanted to, kind of see what we could do, spread around, and it wasn't there. Mark did end well. I think, what was he, 7 for 8 in his last 8, or 6 for 7 or something like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, before the cramps and all that stuff. The one thing, that O-line, man, and the tight ends, they were violent. Just watch that on tape. They were violent. There was a play that I was just watching that Logan Jones blocked the guy 30 yards. Yeah. Literally blocked the guy 30 yards. That's awesome. Yeah. That's so awesome. Like, every single one showed up, played violently. Tight ends were receivers on one of the big long runs. Weegan had an amazing block. Really helped us get that one. I love the fight. Love the effort defensively. Thought we played really hard, really well. A couple plays there we gave them. I think there was that one series that just we weren't great, but for the most part, the guys flew around and played well. So, yeah, I mean, we shouldn't have to pass for 300 yards to beat Albany.
Yeah. No, it was kind of keep it simple, stupid after a certain point. And you mentioned the cramps with Gronowski, kind of leaves him in it. I give it an incomplete. Maybe I'm just the new pregame guy waving the flag and all that kind of stuff, but it's just like too many variables, nerves, run the football, and then cramps doesn't. I mean, it was such a small sample size of what actually Mark Gronowski is. I don't think he forgot how to play football. Like, I just keep going back to that. Like, the body of work, 49-6, now 50-6 as a starting quarterback. You don't win 50 games in college football at any level if you don't know how to play quarterback, right?
Correct. Yeah, Mark will be fine. I mean, he made a good throw to was it Jacob Gill there toward the end, and Yeah, it's unfortunate with the cramps, but heck, it happens. I never cramped up because you have to have the muscles to do it, and I don't think I had those. There were a lot of guys in the NFL, surprisingly, that would take an IV before the game, an IV at halftime.
Oh, wow.
So some guys are just more prone to that. I think Mark's a pretty lean guy, so maybe, and I don't know if that's ever been an issue for him or not, but I'm sure that it probably won't ever be again. But yeah, I like where we're at, man. I like everybody down on us. I like that. I love that. I love that. I mean, I think, and I was actually talking to Dolph about this, and I'm like, what did everybody think after we had to block 2 field goals to beat UNI? What was everybody saying then?
I remember.
And he's like, oh, he goes, oh, buddy boy. And then what did we do the next week? We beat Iowa State by like 35 points or something crazy. Yeah. And that Iowa State team, they were decent. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're ever really that good, but they were decent.
Yeah, they were decent. Pat Anger joining us right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. It reminds me of Rod Beck. He's a closer for the Cubs. He always used to say, I don't pull muscles because I don't go in the DL with pull muscles because you can't pull fat. Like that's what I'm in. Like I never have I don't cramp, like your fat doesn't cramp, I don't think. So I'm good all the time. You mentioned Iowa State, and last year we've kind of talked about it. What's this week like for the players? I know what they have to tell us and the media and all that kind of stuff. And ever since Julian opened his big yapper when he was a freshman and said he hated the entity that is Iowa State, what is this week like? You don't like them, right? I mean, that's just bottom line.
I wouldn't say you don't like them. You want to beat them. They're PV. Their assumption. They're your rivals. It's not like you don't like them, but you want to beat them. You want to compete. The one thing I respect about playing Iowa State is no matter how good they're supposed to be, or how good we're supposed to be, or how bad they're supposed to be, or whatever, they're going to hold you accountable. And I appreciate that. I think you learn to love people that are going to hold you accountable if you're not there and you're not ready to go. So as far as preparation, it's a normal week. Every game you play is the most important game. And I know it sounds cliche, but if you admit that, if you say that, then it's like, well, you try harder this game than you do the next game. Like, no, then you're a loser. Try as hard as you can every freaking game. If you don't, get off the field. Go find something else. Go do something else.
Yeah, I can't. How do we lose last? It's just weird it's weird that Iowa lost that game. I'll still sit here a year later and go I remember sitting on my couch after that game got done going, looking at my son Charlie going, how do we just lose that game? What happened? So anyways, Pat Anger joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Have you looked at them? I know you will throughout the week and all that kind of stuff. They played Kansas State, and hats off to them. They played South Dakota, and everyone expected that to be like a little scary early, and they went out there, and I think Rocco Beck had one incompletion, 19-20. They had a field goal kicker make a 63-yard field goal. What do you know about Iowa State? And you got to give Matt Campbell and his staff credit. They look a lot like, and this is a complete compliment to Iowa State fans watching, they look like Iowa. Like they stay in games, find a way to win. I mean, it's a compliment to what they do. What do you know about Iowa State? What do you expect from Iowa State?
Yeah, I haven't watched any cut-ups of them this year. Plan on doing. Actually, I spent today watching the Bettendorf PV game, and then just watched Iowa versus Albany, and then tomorrow I'll kind of get into my little study there. Obviously, their quarterback's really good. Rocco is really good. He is a really, really good quarterback. And they're going to run the ball. They're going to try to be physical. And it looks like they've got, I was kind of hoping with, was it Higgins and, who was their other receiver that both ended up with the Texans?
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping I was hoping they wouldn't have any more of those guys, but it seems like they got another guy that's pretty speedy. And defensively, the way that they run things is really tough and physical and well. And I don't know how their defense works. It's super different than anything I've ran or seen. But they play hard and they play. And it sounds bad to say, but they play like you said. They kind of play like Iowa football wants to play. They want to play physical. They want to stop the run. They want to establish the run. And as I guess as simple as that sounds, it's a lot harder to do, and a lot of teams shy away from that. But you got to respect them for wanting to run the rock and wanting to be physical. So. Yeah, I'm excited to get into the film and just kind of see where they're at this year. And obviously, probably before the game, probably the day of the game, I'll most likely watch last year's game to just kind of see where they're at there. What kind of hurt us and all that.
Yeah, I think we over the summer, because we were bored, I made you rank your top 5 stadiums to play in, not named Kiddick. And I don't think we counted Iowa State. I don't know if we did or didn't. But your playing days, and then gosh, this is the first time you're there as a radio guy. But what's that stadium like? I mean, they've done a great job over the last decade building the environment and all those kind of things. It's a hostile environment, but Iowa hasn't lost there in like a decade or so. It's crazy.
Yeah, I only played there one time. Earlier in my career, when we played there, I was either injured or I didn't dress. So I only played there once my senior year, and I remember them like throwing like batteries at us, like just stupid stuff like that. Obviously, that's nothing to do with nothing to do with the football team. Like they obviously wouldn't condone that or anything like that. But you get that stupid stuff when it comes to games like that. So it's obviously stuff you're going to have to. I'm sure the players will have to deal with, but I don't mind Iowa State because it's literally the only place in America where not only am I good looking, but I'm smart.
You have that on that. We will hear you use that at least 3 times this week, 4 times, 5 times this week. I think it's great.
Yeah,
Pat Anger joining me on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. A few more before we let him go off on his fantastic day. The Iowa Hawkeyes don't have their starting running back, Kamari Moulton, out for this week. 2 deeps came out on Monday. I feel bad for the kid because it started last season as a starter. Caleb Johnson became Caleb Johnson. The rest is history. He battled injuries in camp, healthy to play, and then a different injury gets him in week 1. Your concerns at running. First, let's just talk about the guy himself because that's frustrating. You have had injuries. You've dealt with that. Nobody wants to get injured. It's got to be frustrating for him.
Oh yeah, injuries suck, and it's lonely too when you're hurt, man. Especially when you're hurt during the season, you feel like you're not a part of it, and even though they try to, they make sure that they make you a part of everything, you just don't feel like it. You feel like you're failing. The big thing that he's going to have to do is you've got to check your ego, learn from my mistakes to where it's like, well, I'm going to come back early. I'm going to come back when I'm not ready just so I can play, because you think that you're not being a good teammate when you're hurt, but really, if you're playing at 70%. You're not being a good teammate. So make sure you come back healthy and do the rehab and all that stuff. But yeah, I feel for the kid. He's a very talented kid. And there's going to be some guys that are going to step up and we do have a good stable of running backs.
You mentioned, I think they call themselves the stable or something like that. Pat, they all looked really good. I mean, they did. Who stood out to you?
They all are really good.
Even the freshmen. I mean, I turned to Caker during the game and I'm like, we haven't seen Jazz Patterson yet. And then all of a sudden, third quarter, here comes Jazz ripping off like a 15-yard run, then a 20-yard run. I think he had a touchdown maybe. He was impressive. They have depth at that position, which is probably a little reassuring heading into this week.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were extremely deep last year too. I mean, we're seem just as good this year as well. What's interesting, you look at Xavier Williams and Ty Washington. They came in together. Ty's a sophomore. Xavier's a redshirt freshman. Ty didn't redshirt. But what I loved about they match up with each other really well. They work with each other extremely well. Xavier's kind of that tough bowling ball type guy. Is gonna run through you. Ty's that kind of athletic speed guy. What I'm impressed with Ty, he came in as a receiver. And gosh, he runs hard for somebody that came in as a receiver. He's trying to hurt you. And then Jazz has that patience. Like he's got that almost like Le'Veon Bell. Like I'm gonna kind of dance a little bit, like make sure it opens up. Then when I hit it, like I'm gonna go 1,000 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And then you have McNeil too. That's gonna get some touches as well this year. And he's a true freshman, and he's a stud too. I like how all these running backs complement each other. And it was really fun watching them excel. And a lot of it, obviously, was due to the fact their O-line just was violent all day long.
I got to ask you about, we did defense, but I want to talk about the linebackers before I let you go because that's what I asked you about on the pregame show. Your thoughts on how they played. I know there was one series that things got sideways and they scored, but other than that, I thought people were flying around with the football. You're right, Carson Shire, that 43 was like different looking because he's just a little bigger, a little faster than maybe yourself.
Than me, yeah.
But your thoughts on how they played.
Yeah, there was a play they ran. I want to say it was a counter. And tight end came back around. Carson hit him, shed, made the tackle, and honestly, I thought it was Josie Jewell. Like, it looked just like a Josie Jewell play. And that's pretty good to be compared to Josie Jewell. He's one of the best to ever do it at Iowa. But yeah, I thought Harrell ran around really, really well. He did a good job leading it, and Rexroth came in. There was one play the outside that he was able to show off his speed, and he was moving there and made a good play. The hard part was there wasn't necessarily a lot of opportunities really for them to. It was just it was a different offense. It was more spread out. There wasn't that those leads and those powers and stuff like that. So they'll have an opportunity to see how they fit against more of a traditional run this weekend against Iowa State.
All right, Patrick, something's got to give. The Hawkeyes have never beaten Iowa State with you in the booth. The Hawkeyes have never lost a game with me as the pregame host. I mean, something's got to give this Saturday, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's. I mean, gosh, if I might have to quit if this becomes a trend here, but yeah, I like our chances. I like our guys. I like the Hawkeyes here.
I love it as well. It's going to be a fun week, Cyhawk week. We'll have Kakert on throughout the week. Jake Brend over on the Cyclone side, all that kind of stuff. It'll be a ton of fun. Thank you for your time. I'll put the check in the mail, and thanks for letting me be part of the radio team. I hope I don't mess it up again this week as well.
No, you did great, man. It's glad to have you. Glad to have you here.
All right, Pat Anger joining us right now on Off the Air. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
All right. That is our weekly look at Iowa football with Pat. And he's right. I mean, he's 100% right. You know nothing about what Iowa does. They run the football against a team you can run the football against. So a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue. And he brought up a great point. 2009, they almost lost to Northern Iowa. They flip around and they hammer Iowa State. So it's going to be a great week, great game. Cyhawk week in the state of Iowa. We'll be all over it throughout the week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coming up next, we will take a look at some high school football as well. A huge Friday night. We will chat with Pleasant Valley's Rusty VanWetzinga next right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need Mobile Party Experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile Party Experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your Mobile Party Experience today.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Of course, yesterday was Labor Day, so we didn't do a show, so we didn't get a chance to dive into what was week 1 of the high school football season. And first and foremost, we had a blast on Friday over at Spartan Stadium. Great hospitality as always, got you set for the week that was week 1 of the high school football season. But the biggest game in town was the rivalry between Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley. We thought we'd see it on Friday. We had to wait a little bit to get there, but we eventually did see it, and it was Pleasant Valley winning 24-17. And joining me now to talk all about that, the head coach of the Pleasant Valley Spartans, Rusty VanWetzinga. And Coach, you're wearing the Chippewas. We'll get to that in a second, but congratulations. A nice way to start the season. Had to wait for it, but congrats on the victory.
Yeah, that was a big win. Beating your crosstown rival, who Bettendorf's obviously one of the state premier powers traditionally, And it's always a big game. It's always a tough game. It's always a hard-fought game. A lot of from a fan perspective, players' perspective, very familiar with both staffs. So, and it's week 1, so there's a lot of uncertainty up to that game. And there was certainly, probably more uncertainty this year. I can't speak for Bettendorf, but I'm guessing there was some of that. Certainly for us, because we had such turnover from the previous year, weren't really sure how things were going to play out with some of our young guys and inexperience. But I had said maybe in our previous show, and to two coaches and 2 other people, outlets, that I thought we have gotten better day after day after day after day. And some of that maybe is the inexperience, maybe it's the youth, right, and just, learning and things. So I was really excited about see how we did. Obviously, we were far from perfect. In Bettendorf, they had their share of mistakes too. You always do in week 1, but I was very happy with the level of effort we played, the execution. It's not there yet, but there are a lot of positive. Obviously, there's a number of things that we got to get better on, and there's going to still be growing pains with this team. I know there is because of youth, but for them to kind of face a little adversity on Friday night, really, you get ready to go, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're in a delay, and finally, it just wasn't gonna happen Friday night. And I decided, and then you're always worried as a coach, hey, how things are going to play out in the morning. That was the other thing. We wanted to get the kids home, both the Bettendorf team and our team, so that we decided they'd get home, get some rest, get some food, and be ready to go the next day. So from that standpoint, it worked out. But just really excited, really happy. I'm excited. I was excited before the game. We got to flip the page. We're heading to Cedar Falls. That's going to be another tough, quality, perennial power team we got to get ready for. But I was really excited leading up to the game, excited to see what these kids could do, and then obviously very happy for them to get a big win underneath their belt. We're talking about a junior and senior class that has not won very many games in high school. One games, when they were freshmen, maybe 3. I can't remember so they hadn't had a ton of success. So, and obviously we have some younger kids helping them out, but it's just good to kind of see that development.
Absolutely. Coach, you mentioned being young, and then you get thrown at you that weather stuff. To perform as a younger team with not a lot of experience, but then to deal with that adversity, you had to be happy with that because it was weird. I don't know, and I was in the press box at Alleman calling PA for that game, but I just thought to myself, man, I'm glad I'm not doing TV anymore because this is ruining my entire show if I had to go do a 45-minute show.
Yeah.
What does it mean to say about your kids to be able to kind of bounce back the way they did and play the way they did with all the adversity moving along?
Well, I think it just kind of speaks to our program, how we've done things. We talk about adversity. We talk about things, and football's full of adversity. And that was just one example. And it doesn't matter. You still got to compete. And if you're a competitor, if it's a game and win, all right. If the game's on Friday night, you got to be ready to go. Well, it's not going to, just like you got to play 4 quarters, maybe you got to play overtime. Well, we had a curveball thrown at us. So we got to be ready to go on Saturday morning. So they were ready. So that upticks into the level of, hey, they showed some maturity. They showed some discipline. They showed some growth. So that was good. Still had to go out and play, and against a really quality opponent, and they're going to win games. Bettendorf's going to win games. They got some good players and demonstrated that. But I just think it shows a maturity. We got a veteran coaching staff. I got guys who played for me on our staff. I got guys that have been with me since the beginning. So, and these kids have been in our program. Well, we've had the program longer than they've been alive. So, the expectation's been set there, and just kind of how we do things, and still no guarantee. But I think, how we've gone about our business, the message that we've been delivering over the years, and particularly this year, I thought it was a good sign that the kids, hey, they persevered and they overcame a little speed bump, and we're fortunate enough to get the win.
I know it's a maybe big picture question, but or a tough question, but what'd you learn about your team besides the perseverance, the toughness, all that kind of stuff? Did it look the way you wanted it to look out there? I know you've done this for a couple of years, and probably there's probably something to nitpick about a lot of stuff. But what did you learn positively from your guys on Saturday?
The biggest thing, I was talking to Coach Youngbar about this, and more specifically, a couple things I should say. What they've been getting coached for the last 3 weeks, we saw it on game film. The techniques, the fundamentals. We saw that from our different position groups. Not all the time, and that's okay. But just what they've learned and what they've done in a practice, and then apply it in week one was great to see. And obviously from a coach that makes you feel good, but it also makes you feel good to watch the kids have actually learned. And some of it, I think, is that how we've been kind of restructured practice. I've told you this before, that we really have had a turnover of some really, really, really good players. I mean, we got a number of kids playing collegiately from the last 5 years. And when we stepped into this year, it was just, going back. And I don't like going back, just kind of some of the little success some of these as a team collectively that these two classes have had, the youth from the sophomores. So it was a lot of inexperience. So I was very, very happy to see things that we day in and day out. We didn't turn the ball over one time. Our quarterback made the right decisions. Both quarterbacks did, but we got to get better. And then there's, and the offensive line, I was concerned about our kicking game. I thought our kicking game took a step forward. So just the things we've been constantly preaching and working on, Matt, to see them applied on Friday or Saturday morning was a very good, very fulfilling from us coaches. But obviously there's, I'm just hitting on the nice things, the high points. There was lots of things we got to get better at, and against a lot of good players.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Rusty VanWetzinga joining us now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coach, you look at what's next, and you mentioned there's things to clean up and get better. You have a road trip to Cedar Falls. How quickly, and it's different now because you have a shorter time period to get ready with the Saturday game.
Sure.
But you celebrate it, and it's a victory, and they won, and all that. But these are young kids that got to get back on track. How quickly? Yeah. I'm sure you already have flipped the page and started working on a really good Cedar Falls program. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't care if you're at the NFL level, the collegiate level, the high school level. Football is a weekly deal. The highs and the lows are on opposite ends of the spectrum. And we've been on the other side the last 2 years in closely contested games, just like this game was. So, again, I always talk, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. It's how much you improve from week one to week two. And the big thing I talked about today, kind of things I'm really talking to you about, and I got more individualized in our whole group team meeting, but talked about, hey, we got to flip the page. Hey, I feel good. I congratulated them. I'm happy for you. We're all happy, but now it's week two, and we got to flip the page, and we got to get ready for a very well coached team, a physical team. Again, another traditional power. So I thought practice today was a good step in that direction. Some of these kids don't know any better a little bit. Maybe a lot of them are under the radar, and that's not a bad thing sometimes. So you just got to have blinders on. I mean, in a world, what have you done for me lately? I mean, week one doesn't mean much if you don't take care of your business moving forward. And the high school football season, any football season is a grind. And if you rest on your laurels, and I always tell, don't feel too good about yourself. Don't feel too good about yourself. When you start feeling good about it, that's when you get knocked down. All right. And I always talk about, hey, you got to care about your performance. All right. Care performance and perfect your perfection, get better at it. And those are some of the messages we talk about, Matt, and about turning the page and getting ourselves ready for another opponent. And that'll be the case going into week 3 too, win, lose, or whatever on Friday. I want to take you to the college level now for a second because you're wearing the
I think I did pretty well on my picks too.
You nailed your pick. I'm impressed, and you got Miami last night, and I the other night, and I messed that one up. You killed it. And you got the one. I think the one that you cared about was the last one. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
Central Michigan and your boys and both of them were on the field. Rusty played it a lot. Played well. Joey was out there in some packages as well. It was a late night Friday night game, so it meant maybe a late night, early morning for you. But talk about that program and Bettendorf and PV won in that game because your boys played well. And then, of course, we know Matt Drinkall, a Bettendorf guy, winning his first game at Central Michigan. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Oh, it was tremendous. It was tremendous. I mean, I was really torn, wanting to be there. Fortunately, my wife, my mom, my sister, they flew out there and had a short trip, but they had a lot of fun. Got to see and talk to both the boys. So I was really torn. And then obviously with the rain delay, I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. That's not really what I said, but I was really just like, oh my God. But things worked out, and I had an opportunity to watch it. And some of my coaches were over for the half because it was getting late, so we had to get back up the next morning. So they stayed first half, and we were excited, and just how the physicality that CMU was playing with, and kind of knew that was kind of what I didn't have a playbook or anything, and nor should I. Okay, I'm not going to be a helicopter daddy, but I want to kind of keep my distance, but. I kind of knew the brand, from the recruiting process and talking to Matt earlier, kind of brand that he wanted to install, coming from Army, his roots to Bettendorf and Iowa and those types of things. So it was great to see. And just how they were able to be physical downhill. I thought their defense played extremely well. I thought Helderman, their defensive end, just was a nightmare for them. And, and I knew Joe might not get it. I thought Rusty would end up playing more, which he did, which is fine. I mean, it's totally. And Joe had kind of said, well, we got a couple different packages. So when they got down into the red zone, they started going to the more 4-man front, and Joey was getting in there, and he actually did. I think got a couple tackles, did really, really well. Rusty almost was blocking hard and tough on A gap power and zone and so forth like that. So I know a few of the other players. And obviously, and when the game was all said and done, I'm like, oh my God, they almost not gave it away, but San Jose was right there, got the ball back. You got to be freaking kidding me! I'm gonna have to crack open another soda pop. I think it was a Coca-Cola to be exact. But
yeah, it was.
But they got it. They got the win, and I sent Matt and Coach Drinkall and Coach Fulton 2 nights. Just really happy for you, really proud of you. It was a lot of fun, and they both responded and. It was good. So it's just a great, I was really happy as a parent there, because I didn't have any control over it or any say like that, but it was great.
I got to ask you, because you said the coaches were over until halftime. It wasn't like 13-0 at halftime. And all of a sudden it goes the other way. Were you on the phone like, you guys, you're killing me, get back over here? Like, you might have jinxed it there for a second.
Yeah, they watched it at home. Yeah, a couple of them were texting me. They were laying in bed. I was sitting out here on my patio, kind of where I'm talking to you. Got a TV inside, TV outside. And, I just was like, I kind of had known that San Jose had the ability to strike quickly. Yeah. And they used a couple different quarterbacks. They used more of a running type quarterback, physical kid. And then I think they had some high-quality receivers that if they got in space, they can create some damage. And sure enough, and they started to play. I thought, got a few more guys up in the box as the game went on because they were struggling. CMU was getting downhill. And so I was like, oh, boy, it's getting a little tight, on the road and San Jose, 2-hour time change. Like, oh, boy. So, but, hey, I just think that speaks to the culture that they got up there, the can-do, the four-quarter, the pulling for one another, trusting your teammate, playing hard for your teammates. A lot of the same stuff I talk about and preach about, and might call it something different. But I think that's, what Drinkall and so forth have done a great job doing that.
Obviously, you have the boys playing there, and that's a good reason to have you on. But I want people to realize, like, we got a Bettendorf guy who's a head coach at the Division I level and an Assumption offensive coordinator at that same school winning football games when they're 2 touchdown underdogs going in. I mean, obviously the boys you're excited for, but for we call it the MAC. I'm old. For the MAC in general, that's awesome to see, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of ties up there. There's some ties. Chapin is actually the OC, and Fulton's like co-offensive coordinator.
Okay,
Derek Fulton, Grandview Assumption. But that's okay. That's same. And Chapin's cousins live right here in Bettendorf, so I know them, and I see them at the Y. So there's a lot of connections there. So there's a little bit of excitement, and Rusty and Joey are up there and so forth. So it's a ways away, and it's obviously not the University of Iowa. I mean, everyone's a Hawk fan, and rightfully so. And whatever, that didn't work out, whatever for reason. But they landed and found a good home, and we actually there was actually one other Pleasant Valley football player who played in the MAC. J.F. Green. He's going way back to the late 70s. He's a terrific player, played at Eastern Michigan. His brother Andy Green, who passed away, was the quarterback of the 85 state championship team. And Steve Green was the only scholarship offered to the University of Iowa until Joey got offered. So there's just some connections there. So it's kind of cool.
No, it was awesome to see. Okay, so now next week, twofold, because the Central Michigan goes to Pittsburgh and plays another tough opponent. And we talked on Friday, what is it, San Jose State, Pittsburgh, and then Michigan, I think, is the first 3 games. So welcome to college football, fellas.
Yeah.
But and for yourself, and you talked about it when we had you on the show a couple months ago, like this is one of those games, and you mentioned that experienced staff. You rely on them on Friday because they're going to take over and take the reins going up to Central or to Cedar Falls as well.
That's right. And I had talked to this was going back, Matt. I think we talked going back maybe in March and or April, and I just I talked to Julie, my wife, and then she said you need to go. So I went and talked to Deanne and say, hey, and I had already talked to Joe Youngbauer, Eric Royer, and these guys, and Ryan Arnold's longtime vice. They're like, hey, go ahead, man, you got to go. I mean, Jason Weiss has 2 daughters. My old line coach playing D1 basketball, Marquette and Drake. But the seasons aren't the same. The seasons aren't the same. And they said, go ahead and go. I go, I think this might be the only game I'd have to miss, or I'm going to miss. And I said, if there's a problem, you guys need to let me know. If you're not comfortable, you don't think it's right. They're like, no, we'll be fine. Which I knew they'd be fine. I mean, they'd be fine.
They've been carrying you for years.
Yeah, hell, I'm just for sure. And but and then Deanne was, nope, that's all right, Van. She goes, we've done that before. Go ahead.
That's awesome.
And that's when I said, okay, and going back to, I've always, and you can ask these guys at our banquets, I always try to make sure when we talk, I don't talk about I always say we, because really football is bigger than one individual, bigger than the head coach. It takes a lot of people to make this thing go. So, from a coaching standpoint, my coaching staff, they're terrific. Those guys are awesome. We all have our strengths. And so I always try to say, hey, we believe this, we do this, not I believe in this, I do this, because that's just, first of all, that's just not who I really am and don't like it. And it takes a number of guys to make things go.
Yeah, no, it should be a fun weekend for you. You head up and you check out, enjoy that. I know you haven't got to see both boys play college football together in person, so no more yelling at the TV. You can check it out in person. No. And best of luck to the Spartans. I'm sure they'll kill it. They'll do great stuff. This is like back-to-back shows that you've been on. Like, I don't know if we can do this again tomorrow. Like, I think we just you can co-host the thing with me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we're going out. We're flying out Friday morning and going to play. Pitt plays at Heinz Field, if I'm not mistaken, and that's going to be a tough test. ACC team, Pitt's a physical team. That's out there by Ohio. That's a big football hotbed, and so we'll see. I just want to enjoy it as a parent and watch them play and give a good account on themselves and care about their performance, which I know they will, and their team, and see what happens. I know I talked to. And I'm not some expert on Central Michigan, but I know when I looked at their schedule, the idea of just kind of navigating through those first 3 games because of the quality opponent, physicality, and then eventually getting into the MAC, we're getting the conference. So they cleared an incredible hurdle going out to San Jose. Now it's not going to get any easier against Pitt and then certainly against Michigan, but knowing Coach Drinkall, those guys will be zeroed in on Pitt, and those guys will play hard and play tough, and so it'll be a physical game.
Well, it was a good weekend for Rusty VanWetzinga. I talked to Pat Anger when I got to Kinnick Stadium on Saturday, and that's the first thing he said is Rusty's living the good life right now. So victory for Central Michigan, and a victory for the Pleasant Valley Spartans over Bettendorf. I appreciate you doing this with us. And enjoy the week. Enjoy the trip out there. Tell those 2 knuckleheads I said hi. They've both been on the show, as Matt. You know, and I'm pulling for them and all that kind of stuff. Tell Drink I said hello. Drink I said hello as well.
I will.
And, good luck the rest of the way. We'll talk to you again soon, Coach.
Okay. See you, Matt. Thank you.
All right. That is
Bye-bye.
Rusty VanWetzinga. A fantastic weekend, not just for him, but for Pleasant Valley as well. A young Spartan team. I don't know if people kind of knew what to expect. I don't know if Rusty knew what to expect. And obviously, off to a good start. They go to Cedar Falls coming up on Friday as well. And then, of course, a bunch of other great matchups on that side of the river as well. Davenport North got a victory. But we'll kind of dive into week 2 now of the high school football season coming up throughout the week right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, especially on the Iowa side of the river. Coming up, we're going to kind of go to the Illinois side of the river because in the Western Big Six, a couple teams had victories, and just a couple on week 1. United Township won, and the Alleman Pioneers won. Playing high school football, playing varsity football, I should say, for the first time after taking 2 years off. And it was a good night to be a Pioneer. We're going to be joined by their head coach, Tom Barber. After this, you're watching Off the Air on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Of course, a long Labor Day weekend with a lot of football in it. And it started off on Friday night with high school football, week 1 of the high school football season, and a return to varsity football over at Alleman High School. And joining me now, the head coach of the Alleman Pioneers, Tom Barber. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations. Win number 1, a nice victory on Friday night. Before we get into all the details of things, to get the season back, and I know you haven't been at Alleman for a while, but to see those kids get back on the field and play varsity football, what was that like?
I think that's a big, even just morale booster, just for those seniors, just to get out there after working so hard for these last 2 years and those last 3 and 4 months, just to get it back. Even just getting on the field, I think, was a big victory for the program.
Absolutely. And it was a big win on the field as well. We're going to get to those guys the current day, but I thought it was great because it was Alumni Night. And so to see some legends, Mike Tracy, Dave DeJager, Dana Just, Todd DePorter, to be out there and to see those guys and remind people what Alleman football has been. What was that like, especially for you, the new guy maybe on campus a little bit?
Oh yeah, I mean, even just meeting them before the game, in the pregame, when they did the whole announcement thing, shaking their hands and getting to talk with them a little bit, and then again being able to put the product on the field that we were able to Friday night with those guys there. So get them again excited to be able to watch varsity Pioneer football again was a huge thing. And again, just it was like almost starstruck seeing 30 years of coaching at Alleman that come out and were able to watch us.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the numbers, but I think 229 victories, 20 playoff appearances, 5 state championship game appearances between all those guys. So obviously a lot to celebrate with them being back on the field. I know you had a surprise for the boys. I haven't talked to you, I don't think, about it since then, but I knew about it. I had to keep it quiet. I got some Alumni kids, so I had to be quiet. They got the alternate jersey. Kind of talk about being able to surprise them. What was that like, and what was the reaction to your guys when they got that new alternate look jersey? Like an hour before the game, hour and a half before the game?
Yeah, I mean, we got them a week before the game, so not being able to hand them out to those kids during the week, it was one of those like, I want to tell you guys, but I don't at the same time, because I got a really good idea, and I know Coach Tracy did it way back in the day, so we're going to do it again. So once we got to the stadium, I pulled them out and I'm like, all right, we're going to warm up in the greens, but we're wearing these when we walk out. And they got super excited once they finally saw them.
I loved them. I thought they looked great. As the PA guy during the game, it wasn't easy seeing green on black numbers. A couple times I had to wait because I'm old and my eyes, I couldn't see from the corner what it was. I need to get younger spotters, I think, but they looked fantastic. You talked about matching the excitement with the product on the field. Game one, you haven't been there long, but to go out and win 62-13 and just see your guys kind of execute, I think, in all 3 stages and phases of the game. What did you like about what you guys did on Friday night?
I really liked how we came out from the start. I mean, I knew that if we won the toss, I wanted the ball. And so just starting on offense with I think our first series was a 3-play drive for a touchdown. So starting it off like that and just establishing the physicality that we were going to play with all night was a huge thing. Just seeing how they were ready to go, they were excited. And they kept that up throughout the night.
They did. I think it was 28-0 before the rains came. Mother Nature can't make anything easy. What was that like? Because you guys are rocking and rolling and playing really well, and you want to keep playing. I think there was thoughts of when is it going to stop, what's going on, all those kind of things. What was that rain delay like? It wasn't just for you. It was for a lot of teams around the viewing area. What was that like, and how did you keep your guys locked in?
Yeah, I mean, that was, again, something you don't want to have on your first game, but it was interesting, but was able to try to keep them separated really from the fans and the student section, because I know that's a bit of a distraction. So we were able to keep them separated for the most part. And then I think once they knew we were going to go back out and play, that excitement level came again. And then once we got back on the field, it took about 2 or 3 plays for our guys to get back to that first kickoff type of excitement. But once we got it back, I thought they handled it really well, to be honest, especially since I think it was an hour and a half or hour 45 minutes or something like that before we could actually play. I thought they handled it pretty well considering the circumstances. There
seemed to be a few times during the game, and not very many, a lot to be happy about, that you called timeouts just to talk to you guys. What was that? And I think it was kind of one of those things, like maybe it was during the delay, after the delay, it was just kind of like wake up or get back in it, all those kind of things. Kind of talk about that, because you seemed very communicative with the kids on Friday night, and that seemed to be something you wanted to do.
Yeah. So that first time out, yeah, that was right after the rain delay, and I thought we came out a little sluggish out of that rain delay, and Walder Christian came out firing. They were ready to go again to play. But so we called that timeout just to calm them down a little bit and just let them kind of catch their breath again, so they can realize, hey, we're playing this game, and we're not playing how we want to. So that was the first time out. The second one, we were putting those younger kids in. So it was really just to let them know, hey, you guys are in here for a reason. We're putting you in for a reason. It's not too big of a moment for you guys. You guys can play. We've seen you play. You know how to play, and just go out and execute.
No, they did a fantastic job with it. Tom Barber, head coach of Alleman, join me right now. I want to talk about some individual guys, because running the football, and it was your offense. You brought it in. It probably looked different than what they were doing in the past. So the guys had to buy in. And everyone seemed to eat and get some touchdowns and move the ball, especially on the ground. Kind of talk about that and your guys up front. You want physicality. It helps when you're running the football the way you guys did on Friday night.
Yeah, I think all three of our varsity running backs scored. So that's a good thing. Them seeing the end zone and getting in there. But again, it started up front. That first play, just getting off the ball and showing that physicality and moving those guys off the line of scrimmage to give our backs that chance to make big plays down the field after they got through that first line was huge. But yeah, Adam, Will, and Kyle, they played super hard. They were a big factor on Friday.
They were just that. Tom Barber from Alleman joining me right now and off the air with Matt Randazzo. A few more before I let you go. Obviously, it's a great feeling to get that victory. What was your first game like? Was there anything you didn't expect? Were there nerves? You've never lost as a varsity head coach. I want to throw that out there if I'm you, I might retire. But what was it like? And was there anything you didn't expect and all those kind of things as you went through your first night as the head guy?
Yes. I mean, everyone's going to be nervous the first game, but being as my first game as head coach, yeah, I was really nervous. I think from about 3 o'clock on, making sure that we had everything, making sure I had everything, making sure our kids had everything. And I was just double, triple, quadruple checking everything. But then once we kicked off, then those nerves kind of settled down. And then getting back in that flow and calling the game on offense, and then making sure that we get our subs in and making sure our intensity is good. That part came naturally once that kickoff came and we were settling into the game. Did not expect the rain. I'm going to be honest. Did not expect that at all. And then it came. So that one got a little agitated when it was taking so long. But, I mean, there's nothing you can do about Mother Nature.
Yeah. When did you find out about that? I don't want to throw any of my beloved former weather guys under the bus, because they do a great job. They really do. And I feel like I'm hard on them. But I didn't even know that it was a possibility until someone told me that PV Bettendorf across the river didn't even start. And I was like, well, that's not that far away. We could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I found out when they told us to go underneath the home stands. Put it that way. So I didn't even cross my mind until they go, all right, you guys need to get off the field. I'm like, okay.
No, that's not that wasn't scripted when it comes to your home opener, but it was a good thing. Hey, what was practice and stuff like with these guys now? They get that taste of success. They get out there and play football. That's first and foremost. They see what it can look like. There's more football to be played. How do you balance that? I mean, obviously there's the excitement, but nothing's done yet. There's a lot more football to be played. What's practice been like this week, and what's your message maybe to the guys?
So, I mean, the first thing was congratulating them on how hard they played and getting that victory, and showed a lot of good things on film. But then just reminding them, hey, there are things we have to correct. Let's look at our game and let's correct those things this week. And then letting them know, like, hey, Friday was great. That's great. We enjoyed it. We celebrated all weekend. But now that's in the past. Now we got to focus on the next opponent, which is Dwight, who is bigger bigger than Walder Christian. They're a little bit stronger than they are, and they got a few more kids with varsity experience and playoff experience. So letting them know that, hey, this is going to be different. We got to come out. We got to fix our mistakes, and we can't have a let up this week.
Absolutely. You kind of mentioned it a little bit, but Dwight is coming into town. And you mentioned some of the things you expect. It is a step up probably in competition, and the Western Big Six obviously will be as well. What have you seen from Dwight? I don't think they played last week. Somebody told me maybe like they got a victory due to a forfeit, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what do you know about them? Is there any video on them because of the fact maybe that's what the case was? And what's that kind of preparation like?
Yeah, so they did win by forfeit. The other team did not have a varsity team, but they did end up playing a JV game. So we got that film from Friday for the JV film. So it did a little film exchange with their head coach. They're big. They can be physical. Their offense is kind of old school like ours. So they're single wing. So we got to really focus on their two backs in the backfield because they like to do a little double handoff or a fake handoff, counter stuff, kind of like what we do, but just a little bit different formations. And then their defense is something that we haven't seen yet. But I think we have a good game plan going into how to attack their defense and a good game plan on how to attack their offense as well.
No, I love it. Football season is underway. Hey, I don't know if you recognize the squeaky voice that was on the public address system during the game. You guys and the kids get plenty of love. I'll give you that. But Alleman's undefeated when I'm the PA guy. Like, I'm in general, like, we could talk wins and losses. I've never lost when I get a little assist, an asterisk in the book or something like that?
Yeah, it'd be like in soccer and hockey where we get the win assisted by Matt Randazzo right there, right in the record book.
Trust me, I don't think I've ever done anything to help Alleman football, unfortunately. But it was fun to watch. I know people really did enjoy it. Congratulations once again. Last congratulations. Now we get to move on to the next one. Dwight comes to town on Friday. Best of luck. Keep the guys healthy, and we'll talk to you again real soon, Coach.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, that is Alleman's head coach Tom Barber celebrating a victory on Friday night, and obviously moving on to week number 2. When you look at the Western Big Six, just 2 teams in the entire conference, United Township, who finished their game on Saturday, and then the Alleman Pioneers, the only 2 winners in the conference. Of course, that will change this week. I think the conference is going to be pretty good. There was some tough tests week 1. We'll see how things continue and bounce back. And we're going to talk a lot about week 2 throughout the week. Our good friends Mitch and Greg from View from the West will be here to preview week 2 on the Illinois side. We got some stuff on the Iowa side coming up as well. So high school football season week 2 coming up later this week on Friday night. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. Want to welcome Skiles Driving Company to the Off the Air family. Excited about his partnership that we're going to have with us as well. And hats off to my niece for starring in that commercial as well. Molly did an awesome job. I don't know if she's she's excited. She loves it. She absolutely loves it. So welcome back. Thank you guys for joining me on a different time here on a Tuesday. Had to head to Iowa City this morning for a few radio responsibilities. So I figured I don't want to skip a show. I'd rather do something later on in the day. So here we are, middle of the afternoon, a couple of news and notes to get caught up on. And then I'm going to let you guys head out for the day, and we'll get back with you guys tomorrow. Again, I do want to mention that some news and notes. George Raveling, former Iowa basketball coach, passed away this morning at the age of 88 years old. George Raveling recruited icons like Roy Marble and B.J. Armstrong and that group to the University of Iowa. In 1987, that team was his. So it was an awesome era of Iowa basketball, what I grew up on as well. So thoughts and prayers to George Raveling and his family. He passes away at the age of 88 years old. Also, we had a blast on Friday at Pleasant Valley, taking the show on the road. We're going to do the same thing this Friday. We're going to head out to Geneseo High School for a really cool showdown. It's Assumption and it's Geneseo. Battle of Iowa versus Illinois that we don't get to see very often on the high school gridiron. So we'll head out to Bob Reed Field on Friday. It'll be a bunch of fun. So make sure you guys get ready for that as well. And then I'm really excited about this. We'll have more about it tomorrow and maybe launch it tomorrow, but we're bringing Nest Guests back. Anybody who's a Quad Cityan knows exactly, and been in the Quad Cities for a while, knows exactly what Nest Guests is if you're a sports fan. Mark Nessler, former longtime editor of the Dispatch Rock Island Argus, sports editor for the Dispatch Rock Island Argus, had a franchise called Nest Guests. Every morning I would get up and read on Fridays, and they make picks for the weekend and keep track, and you could do that as well and get your picks in and win weekly prizes. And it was, I watched him do it with Dan Burrich. I got to do it for a while with him and put my picks in every week. In fact, he put a pie in my face because of it one time, maybe twice. So it was something I loved. We're going to bring it back. You guys can get into Nest Guests. You can put your guesses in. We'll keep track throughout the year. Mark Nessler will be here with us later in the week to kind of talk more about it. Weekly prizes, prize at the end of the year, like old times. So it should be a ton of fun. Thank you to Hungry Hobo for sponsoring our new Nest Guests contest here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Really excited about it. So more on that tomorrow. But just to put in your guys' head, get ready to take part in a long-time tradition here in the Quad Cities. Nest Guests is back right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We want to thank today's guests. Pat Angerer joined us, as well as Rusty VanWetzinga and Alleman head coach Tom Barber. It was a busy morning in Iowa City. I went up there, did an interview for the pregame show. Players met with the media. Mark Gronowski just admitted he needs to settle down, needs to do better. We talked a little bit about it with Pat Angerer earlier in the show, but really, in my opinion, just an incomplete from him is what I would give it. Jitters probably early, run the football, get a lead, and then, of course, he had the cramps and left. So will be interesting to see how he does at Jack Trice Stadium this weekend when Iowa and Iowa State go head-to-head. Also, Kamari Moulton is out for the game. Kirk Ferentz just announced that a short time ago, probably a couple weeks before they can think about getting him back. But the good news is so many running backs for Iowa ran the ball well, and with one of the best offensive lines in the Big Ten and maybe college football, they're going to have to lean on that offensive line coming up at Jack Trice Stadium coming up on Saturday. So a lot more to get to coming up tomorrow. Jake Brent will be on the show, efforting maybe Kyle Huseman as well. It was a big recruiting weekend for the Iowa women's basketball team. So maybe get Kyle in here, talk about some of those big recruits that were in town and possibilities of coming to Iowa City. All that and much more. We'll catch up with Ken Prince later this week as well. Talk about the Illini. They get ready to take on Duke coming up this weekend. They go on the road. I believe they're a 2.5-point underdog or favorite. I can't remember. But anyways, we'll talk Illinois football. We'll get you set up for week 2 of the high school football season as well this week. And on top of all of that, Thursday night, there's NFL football. Friday night, there's NFL football. Sunday, there's NFL football. Sunday night, Monday night. I mean, what a great time for sports here in the Quad Cities. We hope you keep it locked here with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll be back to our normal time throughout the rest of the week, 10 a.m. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Don't forget a post-pod for the Iowa football game with Iowa State coming up with Tom Kakert on Saturday as well. We'll get that up and running probably an hour and a half after the game, so soon after the game. We'll get that up and running as well. So a lot of things to get to. Thank you guys for the flexibility today and for joining me in the afternoon and listening whenever and however you listen to. It means a ton to me. And, of course, thank you to our fantastic sponsors. I had another cool graphic made for that, but when I got home later than I thought. So I had to decide whether I wanted to eat lunch or hurry back and barely make showtime. And I ate. I went and I had a little sandwich. So I don't have it, but thank you as always to Mobile Party Experience, Hungry Hobo, Rafferty Funeral Home, our new sponsor, Skiles Driving School, Godfather's Pizza, and Snoop's for all their support that we get here with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Could not do it without them. It's a great week. It's a great month for sports, and we will talk more about it coming up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow.